Hey, what's up YouTube? Patwwa here, and I'm bringing you a tutorial. And this tutorial is on well, not advanced, a basic segment in color correction. And I know you guys asked about color corrections before and more tutorials after the C4 glitch. So I thought, hey, why not do this? Before I get started, I want to just say it's basically based on your taste. So even if I make a map look this certain color or that certain color, it is always your taste and how you want the map to taste. I make comments saying, "Oh, it's too dark" or "Oh, it's too bright," but that's of course what I think, not what you think. You might try to get a feel off of it, like you want a nighttime effect compared to I want a daytime effect. It's all up to you. But we can get started by I'm going to open up After Effects. You can do this in Premiere also, but let's get started here. First of all, you're going to want to choose the clip, and I already chosen my clip in one of my files here, one of my bloop files, Quad Miss Saiga Fail. Let's see what that is. Right here, Quad Miss Saiga Fail. Obviously, you can see it's already color corrected. This is basically a preview of what I want to show you, and where we're going to go with this. Um, Compared to the how it looked before, here's an example. Now imagine this map not looking like this. It looks pretty as if it was already like that, but then if I remove the plugin, what would it look like? Bam, kind of dry, faded, not really vibrant. Doesn't show the colors. And with it, bam, how's that look? Okay. So basically, to get started, we're gonna do a new composition. Make it the size of your footage, which this is I recorded half size at 1080, so it's about 960 540. But I'm gonna stretch it out to make it 1280 by 720. So make a new composition, then drag down your clip. I already chosen mine. If you need to choose yours, go File, Open Recent, well, not Open Recent, File, Import, and choose your file, and go to your directory and choose where your file is. I already have mine imported, so I'm gonna drag it down into my composition. Here it's not scaled properly, so two ways you can do this. You can click the side icon or button here and hold shift, and it'll stretch out proportionately like that. Or you can control alt F and it comes to the screen the same way. It's more accurate this way, of course. Other than that, you go find looks in your effects. There's another two ways to do this too. You can have the plugin plane on the right side, left side, wherever you locate it. You type in looks and find it, or you can go to effect, drop down, sorry, go to effect, drop down, magic bullet, and looks. And it's already applied to the plugin compared to here where you have to drag it over your clip. We're going to jump in and go to edit, and here we are. One more thing. Now, before we start editing your clip, the scrubber on the time it is on the timeline. When that's the picture you'll be seeing in your looks builder application when it opens up when you apply the plugin. Now, tips about this is you always want a clip that has a sufficient amount of lighting and also has a sufficient amount of shadows and darkness. So you can contrast between either or. You don't have too much lighting and you're like, oh, this is too bright. You make it dark and then you move the clip forward and then it's too dark in certain areas. So I'm going to go cancel this, go back and move forward in the timeline. Let's see here. Let's see here. What do I like? What do I like? And now, personally, I would probably choose something like this here because you have your shadows here, you have a light in the background, and you have multiple colors that you can see and compare from. But just because I'm a goofy person, I'm going to choose that right there. Just this one, right before he hits me in the face, or tries to at least. Since we have the plugin here, click on the edit button and go in. Okay, now that we're here, let's start off by choosing what kind of color correction you want. Now, in Glux, it already gives you presets. I've found many other packages on the online, as I also put a color correction video out a few weeks ago on some downloads for Magic Bullet looks and color curves. Now, I already have, you could say, hundreds of color corrections to choose from. So in my case, I kind of would never have to choose a color correction, but I find myself altering other color corrections to get exactly what I want. Sometimes it may be too dark, too bright, too this or that, faded. Example would be like this. I like it, but some things I would alter, maybe the vignette and the diffusion and the light flex. Uh, but other than that, let's get started on our own. If you already chosen one of these and you can't get out of like, one of these without deleting all this, that's one thing you can do is delete all these and it would go back to your previous, or you can go into basic, go to clean start, and you're back to normal. Now, I think this map is, as I said, a little dry. So let's go add a little sun to it. Let's get it warm a little bit. So let's see if I can go to matte and find myself summer sun. Throw that in there. Now it gives you a little vibrant, softer to the light look. All the brightnesses are lighter. Let's change the colors up a little bit. Let's open up the pane on the right side again. Forgot to mention that before. And find a three-way color corrector. Oh wow, I actually can't find it. There we go. In post, throw that down in post. And as you can see here, it kind of names it. Some color corrections are like gamma, lift, and a few other options, and those make it confusing. You might have to do some Googling. But in this case, you can just look at the name, and you most likely will understand what I'm talking about. So shadow color, that would obviously be the shadows. Darker colors here. So let's give darker colors no tint, but let's darken it more. Just crush the blacks as a film color correction term. A little more depth the black. Okay, mid-tone colors. It's not exactly the brightness, but what's in between. Let's mess around with the highlight first. Let's get a little warm. Drag that up, give it a like yellow tint there. Nice and clean, not too much. And mid-tone, also give that a little yellow here. Too much there. Now it's starting to turn pink and red and blue and purple, and yeah, we're not high, so we need these colors at all. I'm liking this here, right about there. Looks good to me. You can also alter these by pushing up the bar on the right side. That also evil out the brightness and the darkness of that color tone. I'm pretty happy with it right there. Now that's not too bad at all. Well, now I like a little flash on my screen. So, when you really look at something, it kind of blurs your vision because it's really bright. So I'm probably going to do a little something like that by adding a light flex. Should be in subject or matte. Let me see here. Light flex, there we go. Throw that in the matte also. Bam. Now it gives a little faded look, but it's not too faded. You can also change around the compensation and the boost. Drop it down a little bit. Negative numbers there. Now, exposure compensation. A lot of these options here, like three-way, light flex, summer sun, they have their own exposure compensation. Another way you could change exposure would be to go to, most of these have them on the top, which is exposure itself. You can throw that down there. And mainly what it does, it is brightens or lowers the brightness in your footage. So if I go to the stops and higher, brightness, lower, darker. And you can see that. And as you do that, you can tell by the exposure lens, it'll widen up here, which is a little tip if you didn't notice. But we're not going to use this today. Let's go back and drop down to light flex again. What should I do here? Again, we're trying to go for that warm look. So I might throw in a little red in there. There we go. Bam. I think a little too much red. Go back down, back to the yellow. Too much yellow equal green. I'm liking this so far. Okay. Now that we're doing light flex, one more thing is around the edges, Battlefield already has its own vignette, but I like to add my own vignette, only because it's like the corners, and that annoys the hell out of me. So I'm going to go to the lens, add a vignette myself. Now the vignette is really iffy on some footages because edges are already dark, as I stated before. So you can stretch this out right here. Click on the edges of the yellow line, and once you get the little icon here with the arrows going all directions, you can stretch it out. And in the center circle, you go stretch that out. Now whatever's in between, that's the faded area from the darker outside to the lighter inside. So you can stretch this out. Bam. feeling this. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. Okay. Another thing I can add is a color contrast. This should alter the color on its own without. It's more like a tint, you can say. Let's see if I can find that here. There you go. Subject, color contrast. Doing the subject, and I might add just a tad blue or yellow. I'm trying to see if I can get the sky to change a little bit, make it a little groovy, if you know what I mean, in those color sense. There we go. Add some yellow in there, and bam. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Now I got a different feel of the entire map. So basically what we did was add a color contrast, a summer sun, light flex, a vignette, and a 3-way color corrector. And you can also save this as a preset if you wanted your own. Another way to save this as a preset would be to go to File and Save Look As, and you can name this. I'm just going to name this, let's just say, Tutorial 1. Can't spell for my life. There you go. And I already have a few other presets I made here. Tutorial 1. Now we have to save it as a preset, and anytime you go back to it, you can just apply it, and you're there. Just like I have a few custom presets here, like Eureka Saturated. Some maps might work different for other maps, but like I said, all up to you. But go back to Tutorial 1, click OK, and bam, you have your footage. This loads, and here you go. This is how it looked like before, and now, before, after. Let's rotate to Discover a little bit. Now you can see how the entire map looks like. Looks a little dry. I would add maybe more exposure to it, get the vividness up. But for now, at least you guys understand the process of Magic Bullet and altering some of its colors on a very basic style. Maybe later on or on the next tutorial, say tutorial number 2, I can do a little more advanced Magic Bullet work where I add multiple plugins and multiple looks to a certain layer and see how that looks. But so far, this is Magic Bullets 101, and thank you for watching. And comment below, let me know what I can improve on. And thank you. Peace.